What's up guys, it's T-Wise, and we're back with another video. This time I'm going to be reacting to 6 most disturbing abandoned building encounters caught on camera.
Let's go!
So, not a lot of people know this, but I used to go into abandoned buildings all of the time. It wasn't the safest thing that I was doing, especially because I was a scrawny 18-year-old who was bringing my camera, that was at least $500 at the time or more, into these abandoned buildings in Cleveland, Ohio, for the sake of just photography. And I'll be honest, I really wasn't good at photography then, so I was really just risking a lot for maybe some good photos that I could post on Facebook or Instagram. So I like to do this. I haven't gone into an abandoned building for a very long time, but it's something that interests me still, despite the fact that I'm no longer an 18-year-old boy with a camera. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this. I'm excited to see what chilling scares has in mind for us. What's he gonna show us in this video?
Hi.
Okay.
Urbex Hill is one of the most popular urban exploration channels on YouTube, featuring raw footage from...
So believe it or not, I think I have seen some of Urbex Hill's videos, and I think that I actually may have gone to some of them whenever I was doing my own travels, right? He goes all over the United States, and I think some of those buildings that he went into were in Cleveland. And I've been in those buildings in Cleveland. I've been in a lot of the abandoned buildings that are in Cleveland. If you look at any top 10 video about the most dangerous places in Ohio, Cleveland is number 1. So I really was out there risking it all for some amateur photos.
YouTuber Chris Hill's visits to a lot of the more extreme abandoned buildings in the US. From abandoned mental hospitals to decommissioned military facilities, Chris explores all of it, but specifically places that a lot of even the more extreme explorers wouldn't visit, at least not at night and alone.
I may have been to this one, but I would never go at night. I feel like going at night is like the worst thing you can possibly do. It's already scary when you go during the day.
In January 2023, he uploaded footage of his visit to the now abandoned Paul Revere Elementary School in Cleveland. After almost a century of use, the school was permanently closed in 2015 due to declining enrollment numbers. Although there are allegedly plans to turn the abandoned building into a housing complex, as of 2024, Paul Revere Elementary is still abandoned and in terrible shape.
See, that's one of the sad parts, is these vandals, the people that go into these abandoned buildings. There's a whole subset of the photography community that won't disclose where they go when they go visit these abandoned buildings, because they know that once they say where the location is, it's going to end up destroyed. There was one place that my friend knew, and she would always go to abandoned buildings, and she disclosed where it was. It was a mansion, and about a week later, it burned down.
Boom! Roasted!
So yeah, that's why a lot of these people don't disclose the locations of where they're going.
The place hasn't been used in years and has been severely damaged by the elements, vandals, and the passage of time. The bottom floors are all flooded, the walls are peeling, the structure doesn't seem too sound, and there's rust, random papers, books, and all kinds of debris lying everywhere. Throughout the video, you can see messages written in seemingly fresh chalk on some of the whiteboards, confirming that people have been in the building recently. This was actually Chris's second visit to Paul Revere Elementary. When he uploaded footage of his March 2022 visit to the school, several people in the comments mentioned they had either been students or teachers at the school and talked about how incredibly sad it was to see their beloved childhood school ruined by abandonment and lack of maintenance. A little after 10 minutes into the exploration,
you gotta get out.
You can hear some sort of ruffling sound and other strange noises coming from somewhere in the schoolhouse.
shit. Oh god. That's like the worst thing that could happen.
Somebody's here.
As Chris turns a corner in the hallway, another person's flashlight can be seen shining down the hall. It looks to be just one person, who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. Still, at 1 a.m. in an abandoned building, it's obviously best to avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself, especially when you don't know the other person's intentions, which is why Chris ultimately decided to run instead of making his presence known. Making sure to walk in the other direction to avoid running into anyone, he then heads to the library and explores the rest of the—
No. This is scary, right? Because you don't know if these people have weapons. Normal, everyday people are already crazy as it is these days. So if you add on top of that, you know, being homeless or a squatter, you don't know what's gonna happen. And so it's really scary. I've been fortunate enough to only deal with something like this once in the entire time I was doing urban exploration. And I just ran. I just ran as fast as I humanly possibly could.
As he goes into the bathroom on the top floor, he has another encounter.
Oh.
In hell, everybody loves popcorn.
Oh my god.
Somebody's in there. Scared the out of me. Oh, man.
At the far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront the man.
Well, at least he's, you know, at least he came prepared. I did not ever go prepared like that. So, at least he came prepared.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, bro, that's not even a person. Wait, is it? Oh. How did it move?
Oh, it's a toy.
Okay, so that's kind of crazy, right? Because it looked like it moved for a second. It obviously there's no interaction with anything at all. Like, it's not like him vibrating the ground or stomping on the ground is gonna make that move. So that's kind of crazy.
Oh my god, that scared the out of me.
It's like some kind of mannequin.
As it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall.
Sound waves?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I guess that's the only thing that makes sense. But seriously, sound waves? To be able to move an object across the room. I don't know. That seems kind of strange. Who knows? Who knows why? It's a ghost.
Most people would have left as soon as they saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through.
Bro, whoever put this up chose the scariest mannequin to just put in there.
This was terrifying.
About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot. Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
Safe is still here. What was in it?
As Chris explores one of the rooms, a strange howl can be heard in the distance, and as he raises his camera, you can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room.
Oh.
By this point, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. Once again, Chris draws his gun and prepares for an encounter, but he doesn't find anyone in any of the rooms. After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides to head home, but not before this final encounter.
This place is weird as hell. Oh, here it is.
I don't know if he's being stalked. I feel like that's kind of like a jumping to conclusions kind of situation. Because I'll be honest, I mean, a squatter doesn't want anything to do with anybody else.
You're goddamn right.
You know, they probably deal with enough people trying to come into these abandoned buildings as it is, and they don't, I mean, that's their home, basically. They don't want to have to deal with anybody if they don't want to. And they don't want the cops to come. Because if the cops come, the squatter's gone, they're probably going to go to jail or get a fine that they can't pay.
My bad, Mom. My bad.
No, I don't think it's somebody who's trying to stalk the guy. It's funny. But it's funny what people will say, these YouTubers will say, to entertain or put ideas in your head.
This place is crazy. I remember the last time I explored it.
Bro, I would have got out of there long after all this happened.
Hello? What? Okay, I know I heard somebody coming down these stairs.
He's got more balls than I do. I would have gotten out there.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
He's like, hello. Makes me think of the balloon boy from Five Nights at Freddy's. Where it's like, hello. I would not be saying hello to somebody who sounds like they're running up and down the stairs.
Nice.
As he struggles to find his way out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be clearly heard on the stairway directly above Chris's head. But after running up and calling out to see if he gets a response, nobody acknowledges him. Luckily, he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently. The Proper People is an urban exploration channel owned by Brian and Michael, two friends who travel the world in search of abandoned buildings. For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have built up a reputation for being a trustworthy channel that only uploads genuine footage of their explorations. In a niche of YouTube that's often plagued by cheap, fake footage from people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, The Proper People has endured as one of the most reliable channels in the urbex space. They gained their fame from explorations of genuinely cool places instead of faking creepy encounters or anything of the such. In 2016, they uploaded a video of their nighttime visit to the Jemison Center in Northport, Alabama, often referred to as Old Bryce Hospital. From 1939 to 1977, the Jemison Center housed hundreds of psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating.
They're always going at night, you know what I mean? I feel like it's always, I know, you're not the expert, Tyler, and you don't do this anymore. I feel like, you know, the best time to go is during the day, because you're not gonna get into weirdos, right? You're not gonna get stabbed from somebody in broad daylight, you know? It's just not gonna happen. So, I don't know. And then, you know, the last guy, I had this thought when it was happening, but, you know, it happened. It was in the winter, the snow was coming down in Cleveland, and it's like more people are going to be going to abandoned buildings in the winter and at night to seek shelter. If I could pick to go in the summer during a bright sunny day, I would, over 1 a.m. on a snowy night. But that's just me.
Often referred to as the creepiest building in Alabama, Old Bryce was closed in the late 70s and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world. As Michael and Brian approach the location in their car, there doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Alabama.
And after driving around the grounds for a while, the two YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while some of the walls are completely covered in all kinds of graffiti, some of them aren't even there anymore.
Get the scariest part of the adventure done the soonest. You know, go to the basement, get it done.
That's not right.
Ghosts and scary people won't be on the first or second floor. They're gonna be in the basement.
With the state of disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap Brian and Michael inside. but as they go up the stairs to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this staircase out here. Oh. There's somebody there.
No way.
Yes, I see their light. They're out there. I swear on my life. Right there. Should I say hello? Yeah. There's somebody out there. Let's go back to the car. This way. If it's somebody wanting to talk to us.
Let's go to the car now.
Oh yeah.
As the camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the
You can hear the fear in their voice. They're like, let's go to the car now. They don't want to mess around with this. And I can't really blame them. I would have been out of there as well.
camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted. Chillingly, if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them. After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car to avoid getting jumped or worse.
It's over. Go home.
It's hard to know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was there had arrived on foot and probably been there for a while.
Or they just parked really far away. You know what I mean? Because, like, obviously, the smartest thing for you to do is not park directly in front of the abandoned building so that the cops can run your plates and find out, oh, these people were there.
We do not care.
Yeah, it could be a couple things. But still scary regardless.
Ridgely Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. Famous for being one of the first psychiatric hospitals in the UK that fought for the humane treatment of mentally ill patients, Ridgely Hospital housed thousands of patients and used modern treatment methods such as electroconvulsion therapy to help patients with a range of disorders, from severe depression to obsession to mania. In April 2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building. Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds. Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
The system works.
That's very true. Getting arrested is probably like, okay, I really don't want that to happen, but, you know, getting jumped or stabbed or something like along those lines is probably the biggest, you know, thing to worry about.
I'm not scared of you.
I'm not scared of you.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I am scared of you.
I think someone is doing that, to be honest with you. What the?
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the 4 explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and this is where things get a little disturbing.
I mean, I feel a lot safer with, like, 4 people. If you're just going in these places alone, that's terrifying. But I feel like your chances of getting caught just exponentially go up because there's more people. And people, you know, they get rowdy.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
They get kind of crazy.
Be careful, there's someone there. Someone there. Just like, let's see what it is. It might be, might need help.
Hello? Who? Hello? What? Go! 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 Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Keep calm. Keep calm. Keep calm. Man! What the? Don't. Hurry up. Get out. Get out. Get out. What do you want? He's right there. He's right there. No.
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car. It's unknown who the man was or what he wanted from them, but one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making. It's probably not too pleasant to have 4 rowdy teenagers
I just said rowdy. That's so funny. He used my exact word. Yeah, I mean, yeah, rowdy teenagers. Some homeless guy's not gonna be very happy. Yeah, I mean, what if 4 teenagers just came into your house and then they were like, hello, what are you doing in here? Where are you at?
It's the one and only Digo Double. Sorry.
It's like, especially in a UK accent, No, I don't have anything in problem with the UK. I love the UK accent, actually. I wish I had it, to be honest. But yeah, any teenagers at all. They just came into where you're staying, where you're living. I doubt you'd be really happy. So, but it's still scary that he went all the way to the car to scare them. Because who knows if he was just there to scare them? Maybe he was there going to attack them or something. Who knows?
Yes, definitely.
Abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing. But still, it's good they were able to get away unharmed.
Bro is saying everything I'm saying before I say it.
In 2006, a 36-year-old man named Vincent Filya was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter. In September of that same year, he saw a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Schoaf getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her. Posing as a police officer, Filya arrested Schoaf on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Filya in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only be described as a nightmare come true. Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation she found herself in. If she wanted to escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Filya, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play games on his phone.
Wow.
One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Filya had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers. However,
Wow.
he never managed to carry out his plan, for just a few minutes later the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender. To make a long story short, Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Filya spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in his cell. In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout where the terrifying crime took place.
That's crazy.
That's not funny, Proctor. No, sir.
It's funny, I was not expecting that. I was expecting just more abandoned buildings. Ooh, there's somebody else, there's a squatter. And then it just seemed like it was a true crime episode just happening. That's crazy. And it's crazy they was impersonating a police officer and arrested her for marijuana. People are scary. People are terrifying. If they have a desire to hurt somebody else, they will go any length to make sure that happens.
Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
I think this was the little girl's backpack that was left here. What a sad sight to see, knowing that that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen. Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Schoaf, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else. As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick. Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house.
This just looks like somebody's house who would harm somebody. Look at that carpet. That carpet and then the wood walls tell me everything I need to know. I can just tell. And then look at that couch. The couch with the flowers. This person was just a serial killer, a person that was going to harm other people as long as they lived in this house. You know, if this gives you any idea of their state of mind, it wasn't very good.
It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Filiat had stolen.
The irony that the Bible was on that last screen, on that last page. That's crazy.
Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006. It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Filiat, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters. Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it. Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio. It's funny, these videos paint the picture that Ohio is just terrifying, scary place to be. I mean, you know, honestly, you know, the Ohio meme, you know, is a thing. But honestly, I'm looking outside right now. I'm looking outside my window, and I see pine trees, and there's a lake across the way, and it's beautiful, right? But Ohio, we either get famous people, we get people that are incredibly successful, or we have serial killers, like Jeffrey Dahmer. No in between, I guess. There's no in between.
In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy, abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about 10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird.
Again!
No, I've never been to this one.
What's upstairs?
Obviously, doors don't just randomly shut themselves, and as it wasn't particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. If the church was in a messed up state, some of the houses are even worse, with most of them looking like they could collapse at any second. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy. Sorry.
Sorry, I came into your house. Sorry, I guess. That'd be so scary. You can hear the breathing, the heavy breathing. Oh, man. These are good videos, though. I'll tell you that.
I didn't know nobody lived there. It smelled like I knew somebody was in there.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back up to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing, Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night.
Yeah, I would call it a night too. That's crazy. It's wild. You know, Cleveland has these roads where it's just a bunch of abandoned buildings on both sides, a bunch of abandoned houses. I never went to those places. I try to avoid those places at all costs, because you can kind of tell it goes from like just really rich areas to just abandoned houses very quickly. And so it's a shame. You know, I've been to an abandoned observatory up in Cleveland, and it was pretty awesome about like 10 years ago. But I see pictures of it now and it's just destroyed. And that's on the edge of what you would call the richer area. Like there's a mall maybe 10 minutes away, and you just keep going down this road, and then eventually you just see abandoned buildings. And it's just crazy. It's crazy what's happening. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Just a little history lesson, I guess, or, you know, I've seen this stuff, so I can tell you firsthand, it is bad in certain areas. And if you go to other areas, you're like, there's no way that could be happening.
In February 2020, urban explorer Rhythm Ryder explored an abandoned house at an undisclosed location with his exploration partner Zay Clark. According to Rhythm, the house used to belong to an old woman who had passed away. In complete contrast to most abandoned houses, most of the woman's possessions had been left untouched, indicating that the house had not yet fallen prey to looters and squatters who often take things that aren't theirs. All throughout the house, the two explorers find everything from beautiful tableware and silverware to ornately woven tapestries and a fully equipped bar. Based on the calendars they found in the house, the property hadn't been occupied since August 2018. Just a few minutes into the visit, Rhythm and Zay find something incredibly sad and disturbing.
I've always been worried about something like this happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground.
Oof. That's scary.
Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who had lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately. It's extremely sad to us. It took us a good 20 minutes to decide what we're going to do here, and you know, despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story, because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found. So check in on your loved ones, guys.
Right in the middle of the hallway, a human body stain can be seen on the floor next to a walker, indicating that the old woman probably had a bad fall and couldn't get up.
That's just sad, you know. So make sure to check on your loved ones. If you haven't seen Grandma or Grandpa in a while, go visit them.
Sadly, she passed away and her body decomposed before anyone could save her, which is a terrifying way to die. There appear to be signs that the woman's family members tried to sort through her things after she passed away, but overall her various belongings are in perfectly good shape, including her bathroom supplies, which were still there at the time of the recording. It's hard to watch the footage without having conflicting feelings. Even though the house is beautiful and you can easily tell that the woman who lived there with her husband was a talented, outgoing person, it's incredibly sad to see how she met her end. Overall, the footage should serve as a reminder to check in on your loved ones every time you get the chance, because nobody deserves to pass away like that. Since 2020, Rhythm with Ryder hasn't gone back to that location.
Well, that was that video. I hope you enjoyed watching this with me. If you want more videos like this, or you have some video essay recommendations, please comment them down below. I would love to watch them and give you my commentary on them. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, the typical YouTube stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.